In this fast-changing era, we often observe a phenomenon. As parents enter their later years, they are particularly prone to being disliked by their children. A few days ago, I received a private message from a mother. She recounted various troubles of living with her children, feeling that no matter what she did, it was always wrong and she was constantly disliked. I deeply sympathize with her and hope to provide some advice to her and all elderly friends facing similar predicaments. Here are 10 pieces of advice I have compiled. Whether you are a child or a parent, it is worth listening to. Let us explore together how to maintain a harmonious relationship with our children as time goes by, ensuring that our later years remain colorful and dignified. First, let us remember, aging is not a capital for us to boast. In this ever-changing era, age is no longer the only standard to measure value. When we are respectfully addressed as Mr. or Mrs., it is the other party's politeness and respect, not a capital for us to rely on. Young people work hard in society with their vitality and enthusiasm, which is their advantage. We should face this with a calm mind. When we receive others' care and help, a simple thank you can convey our gratitude and humility. Second, we must understand. Reminiscing about the past is not something everyone can readily accept. Today's society is no longer one that takes pride in recalling past hardships and sweetness. No one wants to immerse themselves in past glories and hardships all day. Our experiences and stories may have become insignificant in the present. Therefore, when we want to share those past years, please do so in moderation and respect others' feelings. After all, the present is the most important. We must cherish every moment we spend with our children. Third, we must learn to let go. Do not overly interfere in your children's lives. The education of grandchildren is the responsibility of their parents. We only need to offer advice and support at crucial moments. When interacting with our children, we should learn to listen and respect, not constantly express our own opinions. When they seek our advice, it is a sign of respect for us, and we should cherish this trust. At the same time, we should also learn to reduce our focus and interference on others and devote more energy to our own lives, enjoying that rare peace and freedom. Fourth, we must understand the busyness and pursuits of young people. They are at the peak of their careers and the crucial stages of their studies. This is the time for them to work hard. If we miss them, we might as well call to greet them, but please do not overly demand their company. Complaining and comparing will only make both parties feel exhausted and uneasy. We must learn to give them enough space and time to freely pursue their dreams and goals. This way, they will cherish the time spent with us even more. Fifth, we must understand that giving is a selfless act. When we give to our children, do not expect anything in return. Cooking, doing laundry, and looking after the children are household chores. If we are willing to do them, then do them. If not, let go. When we give, please maintain a normal heart and do not complain to our children about our hardships and efforts. Giving is an act of giving, not taking. When we give sincerely, we can naturally feel inner satisfaction and joy. Sixth, in life, we must learn to accept and tolerate. Everyone has their own living habits and ways of dealing with things. We cannot change others, but we can change ourselves. When we feel dissatisfied with the behavior of our spouse, children, or others, we might as well try to adjust our own mindset and expectations. We cannot change others, but we can change our attitudes and behaviors. This way, we can reduce unnecessary disputes and conflicts, making the family atmosphere more harmonious and pleasant. Seventh, in terms of living habits, we must pay attention to cleanliness and hygiene. Although aging brings some physical inconveniences, we should strive to maintain our own image and temperament. Clothes and hats should be clean and tidy, and personal hygiene should be diligently maintained. This way, not only can we make ourselves feel comfortable and confident, but we can also leave a good impression and feeling on those around us. Eighth, Remember not to hoard items like saving money. There is a saying that old things also have their value, but too much idle stuff will only lead to repeated cleaning of excess. Getting rid of unnecessary material burdens is not simply about discarding them, but is about carefully selecting what to keep. Only by courageously letting go of what we do not love can we fill our lives with the things we do love. Ninth, let us remember not to overly rely on children to alleviate loneliness. Although children are an important part of our lives, they also have their own lives and responsibilities. We must learn to be independent and self-reliant, make friends, and cultivate friendships. When we cannot move around freely, we can still keep in touch with old and new friends, sharing each other's lives and insights. At the same time, we should have our own interests and pursuits, making our later years richer and more fulfilling. Friends, today I want to share an essay with you titled Silent Years. We are always chasing time's footsteps in our busyness, never realizing that the years have quietly passed by. When we look back on the past, we cannot help but feel emotional. Half of our lives have passed, and youth has faded. We are no longer young. Once, we thought time was slow, and we were still the teenagers full of hope. However, when we see wrinkles appearing at the corners of our eyes, white hair growing on our heads, our skin losing its firmness, and our bodies no longer upright in the mirror, we realize that we have indeed aged. Time is merciless, and youth is gone, but our mentality has become more mature. We no longer worry about trivial matters, no longer care about gains and losses, and have learned to face farewells calmly, letting go of the burdens in our hearts. We no longer have the impulsiveness and ignorance of youth. Instead, we have the steadiness and wisdom of middle age. However, as we grow older, the responsibilities on our shoulders become heavier and the sufferings in our hearts increase. We dare not get sick or fall because many eyes are expecting us. No matter how hard or tired we are, we must stay strong for those who rely on us. Now, we no longer yearn for noise and excitement, but prefer to stay at home, enjoying the peace and solitude. A cup of tea, a gentle song, and a book are enough to spend a leisurely afternoon. We no longer pursue material wealth, but crave inner peace and tranquility. Looking back on the past, we had countless dreams and pursuits, but now we only hope for the safety of our family and a peaceful life. We cherish the present more and understand gratitude and cherishing more. We love to reminisce about the past and are nostalgic. We often imagine how wonderful it would be if youth could come back. But no matter what, we must cherish the present and live our own wonderful lives. Life is long, and as time mercilessly leaves marks on us, as we enter old age and our bodies gradually lose strength, have you ever thought about how your children would view you if you were penniless and alone? Perhaps they would see you as a burden or even a hindrance. I say this not to accuse your children of being unfilial, but to reveal a part of human nature. In the balance of family affection, the efforts parents make for their children and the return children give to their parents are often not equal. We often say to raise children to provide for old age, but in reality, children who would go to great lengths for their parents are rare. We give everything to our children, even sacrificing ourselves, but how much can they do for us when we are old? This depends on their conscience and choices. We cannot force it. Therefore, when we get old, do not have too high expectations of our children. In life, whether young or old, the most reliable person is always yourself. While we still have the ability, we should seize the time to do two things. One is to keep learning, keeping up with the new era. Do not always use the excuse of being slow to learn because of age to refuse to learn new things and objects of the new era. Remember this saying, nothing is difficult if you set your mind to it. No matter what age, no one can stop a determined heart. Secondly, learn to manage finances and prepare for the future. This way, when we are old, we can have enough confidence to face various challenges in life and not live in a sorry state. Remember that relying on yourself is the greatest wisdom. As we enter this new stage of life in old age, we may find that our relationship with our children needs some new wisdom to maintain. Here, I want to share some insights I have gained through observation and consultation, hoping they will help you. Firstly, regarding the relationship with children, I want to say that sometimes maintaining a certain distance can make each other cherish more. Distance creates beauty. This does not mean we should alienate our children, but learn to find a balance between intimacy and independence. The best relationship between children and parents may be one where there is mutual care and independence. Such a relationship allows us to give warmth and support when needed while respecting each other's choices and lifestyles as independent individuals. How can we achieve this? I want to give you 4 pieces of advice. First, when children start their own families and careers, unless under special circumstances, we should try not to live with them. Home is a warm harbor where we relax, but when we live with our children, this harbor may become a bit crowded and tense. The living habits and concepts of the 2 generations are different. Long-term living together will inevitably cause friction and unhappiness. Only by maintaining a certain distance can we cherish the time we spend together. Second, when we are old, we should avoid letting our children rely on us too much economically. Some elderly parents always think about saving more money for their children, but in reality, this might spoil them. Appropriate financial independence can help children better plan their lives and careers, making them more self-reliant and capable of facing life challenges independently. Third, as parents, we should pay attention to our own mental health and life quality. Only when we live healthily, happily, and have our own pursuits can we provide our children with positive energy and a good example. We should not revolve our lives entirely around our children, but enrich our own lives, developing our own hobbies and interests. Fourth, we should establish good communication and exchange mechanisms with our children. When we feel dissatisfied or have opinions, we should not blindly complain or criticize, but communicate rationally and kindly. Only through sincere and respectful. Ultimately, harmonious family relationships are based on mutual respect and understanding. Both parents and children need to work together to maintain these relationships, creating a warm and harmonious family environment.